Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're here with part 2 of taking a look at our Aldi boys, the final lineup from Boys to Planet. We're going to look through their fan cam starting with GEONWOO all the way down to SANGWON, take a look at their movement quality progression throughout the show, and figuring out what are going to be some areas I look forward to seeing them grow through or refine in the group activities whenever they debut later on. I'm ready, I hope you are. Let's go. So like I had said, the first person up to bat in this part is GEONWOO Ola Solar. And we know that he was the Signal song center. So this is a separate recording of his dance compared to what was in the Signal song official video. It does look like he cuts off movement just a smidge. I noticed it in the first verse. Okay. He uses his extremities well, so that'll be his arms. We can barely see his feet. I do think his movement from the signal test, star test to here is better. It's improved. I can't tell if the audio overlay is just too fast or too slow. There were moments where I didn't know if the audio overlay was right because he was consistently faster than the music. So it's a bit harder to tell in that sense. I don't think he was that like that the whole time, which was interesting. Okay, really good benchmark. Ready to move on to his time. Espa Whiplash. Good upper body for that. Jackets work well for him. Because even in the, like this type of jacket is a really nice look for him. I don't know if it's the type of material, but it works really well for how he executes. His mannerisms look more natural here, too. He's giving cool guy, but not the same way that Leo is. There's a confidence, like a chin up perspective about it as well. Good angle. Featuring Leo. He has confidence and he's got fullness in the upper body, which is nice. He doesn't cut off as much there, like he did in the Signal song. Oh, he had to go to and fro with those leads. Nice. He has good clarity. Despite being long sleeved all the way through, even down to his hands. Like you can only see his hands and his neck. It's still pretty readable, so that's cool. It makes me look forward to seeing his other stuff. I know he was in what? La 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 La? That was really nice. That aesthetic, that styling that he wore there, it goes great with his type of build. Because of how he executes extremities, it highlighted very well there, especially in the upper body. Also, I commend the clarity of it here, despite having most of his body covered up with fabric. So I also think that's really interesting. I think this is a great direction. Okay, next up is La 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 La. This is the first La 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 fan cam I'm seeing, or full cam. I know we're gonna get one from XINLONG as well. Oh, there he is. Looks like we dropped the arms a little bit there. Pretty good. He's looking restrictive here, which is surprising because the opposite should be true because it's a dance performance challenge. And I had a bone to pick with this challenge in particular, and we'll talk about it as soon as he's done dancing here. So it looks like they are using a similar fit structure like Whiplash, different material. The choreography and technique is also different in expectation. There's a lot more reverb play. That does look like he's centering more in the hands and not letting the arm get involved as much. Yeah, it's very, not cut off, but he's being rigid very specifically in the hands. This camera is struggling to find this boy. Yeah, it's looking like he's out of steam here, doesn't it? Yeah, he's compensating with his arms here. He's not using his torso, nor is he using his legs, like actually providing depth to them like he did in the beginning. That was the first full move in that whole outro there. Interesting. Huh. Okay, here's my bone to pick with the challenge, the vocal, hip hop, like rap and dance. Most of the dance performances that we saw were structured like the idol, you know, like a typical idol performance, which that shouldn't be the case, because if the focal point is dance, then you need to structure your choreography accordingly to that, where he just broke off and just walked around. That would happen normally if you were promoting La 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 La, right? But it shouldn't just look like you're covering La 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 La. And I know they had touched on it in the episode, and I'm not talking about, like, did they do anything wrong? No, that's not my point. I love a good growing challenge. My point, though, is firstly, Mnet loopholing by making them sing it, just like the tambourine group. The tambourine group lost the charm of the routine because it wasn't sung by the original people. That's the charm of the song. But then them covering it, there's certain timbres and texture opportunities that get missed in the expectation of it. And I would extend that here. I'm not saying that they didn't hold it on their own vocally. That's not my point. It's the structure of it wasn't giving a dance performance, and I thought his dance movement quality was better in Whiplash than it was here. Part of it, I would say, he looked more fatigued near the tail end of this. Also, we have to factor in they've been going this whole time. So are we starting to notice a fatigue trend taking place? Because he's not the first person I'm noticing. By the time you get to this part, you're starting to see some fatigue on them. Which makes me, you know, are we going to get a well-rested Aldi group whenever we see them debut? And how is that going to look in comparison to their Boys to Planet performances? That'll be an interesting topic, right? So, yeah, that's kind of my overview that I'm seeing here with GEONWOO. He looks like he really got tired, and here's how you can tell. It's whenever you see them, the expectation of torso utilization, torso and lower body, because those are going to be the first things to go bye-bye whenever you get tired. And he still kept his arms nice and full, which really helped, and you have to keep your performance going. But he really started to struggle on maintaining fullness here. He was cutting off his movement a lot more. Now, you could still see the choreography, but was it as full as it needed to be for a climactic event near the end? No. So that part right there, we dancing too. There was no punch, there was no accent and push forward, using the torso to help make that look more full. He was keeping it very centered, meaning that we're not risk taking in our weight shifts, which means that we are too busy making sure that we just finish it. So I understand that could be a fatigue thing there. Okay, next up was chains. Taking a little nap. Oh. Yeah, we gotta get that off fast. Look at him, making it work. Got there well. So I should expect similar results from how we did Whiplash to how he does this. He can do ice as well. He isolated it, okay. His was complete, which is really nice. He didn't involve the torso, but he kept the fullness of the hip, which is interesting. It worked. Very rigid, so it's hard to see the shoulder. Where it's like a shove down versus a rotation to initiate. That was good. He can isolate well. but sometimes it does come across like he's stiffly executing it and there's not a lot of legato. I think hopefully we'll have Arno, ZHOU, help a brother out with some of that. Okay. So an overview that I can give GEONWOO and what I'm looking forward to seeing him have, because he has good accents. He knows how to be teasy. There's not a lot of legato and smooth connection between his teases. Lost his balance a little bit there. Ah, he had a little reverb, which was nice. Yeah. Okay, so he has the charm with his movement. We love that. He's grown in that. He doesn't cut off his movement as much like he did in the earlier sides. He doesn't look as muted either. I can see him grow specifically through maintaining a sense of groove, because he doesn't groove. He's having accents get hit, but there's not a connector point between them, so it's hard to see where the accent goes after it hits, if that makes sense. So that would be my overview of GEONWOO, but I think he did a really good job. I think he grew well. This aesthetic in terms of like how Whiplash was on the charisma as well as Chains fares well for him. It's something that I would like to see him grow through, is dealing with different postures of, branching outside of the go-tos of, the boy group 10CTs, but actually having like a lot of fullness. He can do full, but I don't know if he got tired out, but his movement became less full in the presentation near the tail end whenever you're doing a style that's very much outside of this realm of movement. But all in all, he did great. Next up, it is XINLONG.
Alright, you see the fire. Solar bang.
You know what? Ever since he mentioned it in his variety show with Aldi, he does have small hands. Sometimes you just never notice until it gets said. Because I also have small hands. Huh! I think that's fun though. He's doing good, it's nice and full. Some things, the size of it gets a little cut off, but he's doing very well here. accents look nice there. Okay, very nice benchmark to start. And moving on, he is in To Us. Ah, I like the pop there. I mean, he compensated for not having a lot of lines with his performance. He doesn't look awkward. Now the question is, how is his stamina from the beginning to here? I think he did well in the performance side where it didn't look overly forced, because if you look here with one of his contestant counterparts, it looked like he completely dropped any stage performance just to try to get to the end. But he kept it, at least conversationally, all the way through to the end. Now, it was going, I mean, it could just be the To Us choreography where it very much was like this and how he was executing it. That's not inherently a bad thing if you play your cards right and you're not always a focal point in that. But if you're doing a combo, let's say, and that's how you're executing your dance the whole time, there's no dynamics of going simple in your execution and then complex through the usage of texture and projection, then that's where you would have that conversation of, okay, is he doing too much for too long, right? And that's a conversation for another day, if you ask me. I think here in this case, it gave more the impression, I know, that he didn't have a lot of lines and it's a track out of its comfort zone, those types of things. So he compensated for that with his performance, and I think he did a very good job. He gives more of a jock vibe here. He doesn't look out of place to me, because of how he chose to, perform and not look fake about it. I think more so that. Okay, so this is the XINLONG performance, Rock. There it is. There it is. I was waiting for subtleties. You get to see it more here. There we go. Cool. So this one was interesting because the outro section, the part specifically that I was talking about with GEONWOO, about how it looked a bit muted, it looked like we were fatigued. So it'd be right here, fucking bro, boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I need to see a fixed cam of other members that aren't GEONWOO or XINLONG just to see this outro, to see what it's, if that's what the choreography is. Because that part right there, hit, hit. He does cut off a little bit near that tail end there, but somebody did mention in the comments of the last one in part 1, which I appreciate when you guys give me context because it helps me be able to be better at this position looking at these, that he's been battling with the neck shoulder injury for a while. So that's going to absolutely affect his moments where he's not going to freaking whiplash his head to and fro if you got an injury there and you're like, I would really like to not do that. Right, I get that. It doesn't look like he's intentionally restricting himself there like you would notice in an injury. So I do commend him for that. Could it be because he's pushing himself too much? That's always a topic that can be discussed as well. Time will tell. Hopefully the break between Boys to Planet and their debut as Aldi will allow him and others, because I know, what is it? Arno? It's so funny to say his name. Hold on. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, Arno, with his, impending, what he's had to navigate through with his injuries and just making it a little bit, gives him time to actually recover in that preparation. But that fullness is really nice. The jacket looks great. I do think choreographically you get to see more of an animalistic fullness in the syncopation of the choices of the dance better in the beginning than in the end. I don't know if it's because of fatigue or if it's because of just the structure of it. It does look like I've seen it from GEONWOO and from XINLONG now, the cutoff, which is why let's go on a little journey together. Well, I went on the adventure because it took a second to find the videos, but it did give the impression most members of this particular team were wiped by the time they got to this outro. So I'm going to say it as just an observation of both. 24/7, boom, rock and roll. The swing was fine. The punch. I mean, it's really we locked up the torso at that point, which when they didn't at the beginning, and that's my indicator. We're tired and we're just using our extremities to survive along. This is actually, that's a great tool that you can use to determine somebody's fatigue. Even myself, is whenever you see them, when it's really, really full, and then you see this start to go away and you only see the arms, that's when it starts to look off. Because the energy, there's no more energy to give to involve the full body anymore, so we're in survival mode at that point, right? So they did pretty decent for that, though. Who survived more, GEONWOO or XINLONG? They were each other's mirrors, it looks like. So I would say if they both executed it about the same, that fares better for the group as a whole because it looks intentionally mirrored that way. So that's why one doesn't stick out more than the other of going more full. So we'll put it more so that way. All right, Lucky Macho. Meow, meow, meow. Oh! That was a nice little ISO in the beginning. Nice. Nice. That was great. Look at the fullness of the torso. What'd I say? He is on it right now. The ISO is great. He's phrasing it very, very well. When to be chill, when not to be. Nice. Yeah, this is great. Okay. Yep, he's still using his torso here, which is good. So he paced himself better here so far than what we saw from La 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 La. There's 5 laws, but it's hard to remember how many laws you say when you say it, right? Rock. Using his shots more there, which is nice. nice. I thought this was significantly better in terms of pacing here than it was in La 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 La, which I find interesting because La 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 doesn't have, sorry, La. It doesn't have singing as something you have to factor in. So I wonder if that's what happened with some of our guys was, okay, I don't have to worry about singing, so I can just go balls to walls hard as possible, but then you just tire yourself out, because up until that point when you do the dance performance, you have to always condition your vocals in, and a lot of times dancers forget to breathe because we don't have to factor in my vocal capacity while I'm doing it. I'm just having to do the thing. So it's easier for dancers to forget how to breathe than singers a lot of times, but I would say singers still experience it. It just depends on who you talk to. And I am curious about the practicing of the dance performance compared to cases like this, where I notice it with GEONWOO too, which could be we just need to look at more performances together and then we'll have a better idea. Because you're forced to breathe in order to make sure you stay stable vocally, that's going to make you have better stamina with your choreography by nature than if you're just dancing and not having to think about vocalizing, which means there's a chance you may put breathing on the back burner. That is a very real thing, which is what makes me curious about that on a hypothesis side. Because I would go so far as to say Lucky Mancha was not inherently less difficult than Rock was, yet he didn't look nearly as fatigued, and I think that could be a sincere component of it. That's interesting, right? But I didn't notice that his injury affected him in any way. Like, I wouldn't have said that he looked restricted in his shoulders or in his neck really here compared to other people that I have given that observation to. But he did a great, this looks really good on him. This style does. This type of fullness does. So what will he do when he gets a more sensual type of track? We hadn't really encountered that from him yet. That would be an interesting one to see, right? All right, next up, ANXIN.
Alright, you see the fire. Solar bang. 在无尽的黑暗里，被渲染的 galaxy， 你我共赴心旅。Burn, burn it up， 在蔚蓝的时光中，悄然升起火种，你我光芒交融。Turn it up so high， 在永恒心愿里，绚丽的 star， 光芒倾泻万里，耀过天际。So far， 漫长银河轨迹，无穷无尽，向梦想坚定靠近。Keep going up。 加速度 fly up, fly up, fly up， 献给你 solar， 闪耀吧 solar， 燃烧吧 fire， 强烈 aura solar solar aura aura bang bang bang， 我们携手超越，勇敢向前飞跃 solar solar， 闪耀吧 solar， 被淘汰淘汰，被淘汰淘汰，被淘汰淘汰 aura aura bang bang bang， 被淘汰淘汰，被淘汰淘汰，被淘汰淘汰。
He's readable. He's clean. He doesn't have unique textures about his movement yet at this point.
Solar, solar,
Yeah, so there was nothing really notable about it that gave it a unique quality to execution. But for Ola Solar, they're looking for remembering the choreography, doing it to the fullness that's being asked, and singing it, right? So he had those three things clear say, and he was voted Signal Song representative, which is cool. We're here for it. It makes me look forward to seeing his growth between here and then the final stage that we're going to see in the video, which is Chains, seeing him actually create or find a direction and what kind of texture he wants to explore. Okay, Whiplash.
One look, give a whiplash. We drop it a big flash. To be on the big fast. 이론이 못해. 회사에 너 틴탄. 팀원과 백발. 또 사람들인 채. 우리한테 괜찮아.
Okay, okay. See improvement here. I see progress. He's not really presenting a lot here, which in the world, in the idol world, this is important. He's showing more here. So we saw improvement, at least in showcasing dynamics and texture. It reads well with him. Did he have a performance here that matched effectively to make him somebody that's a standout when standing against other people that are performing that not as much? Because when you saw SANGWON Into the Frame, that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing in his fan cams, is that when you see him pop into other people's frames because of his performance and how it reads very well with his movement, it's gonna, really garner your attention. And so that's something that I'm taking note of as well. And I know that was a note he was given on the show, was using his face to tell a story just like his body. So, okay, next up, he was our vocalist for, what was it? Was it called Breathe, right? That's right. They're like playing something on the LED, and I love that you hear the fog in the background. Here we go, and we're playing. Dun, 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 dun.
숨을 크게 쉬어봐요. 당신의 가슴 양쪽이 저리게 조금만 아플 때까지 숨을 더 뱉어봐요. 당신의 안에 나는 깨웠다고 느껴질 때까지 숨이 벅차 몰라도 괜찮아요. 아무도 그댈 탓하지 않아. 가끔은 실수해도 돼. 누구든 그랬으니까 괜찮아. 말뿐인 위로지만 누군가의 한숨 무거운 숨을 내가 어떻게 헤아릴 수가 있을까요? 당신의 한숨 그 깊이 이해할 수는 있겠지만 괜찮아요. 내가 안아줄게요. 남들 눈에 빠지는 한숨으로 보일지 몰라도 나는 알고 있죠. 작은 한숨에 뱉기도 어려운 하루를 보냈단 걸. 이제 다른 생각이 들어요. 깊이 숨을 쉬어봐요. 그대로 내뱉어요. 누군가의 한숨 내가 어떻게 수가 있을까요? 당신의 괜찮아요. 내가 안아줄게요. 정말 수고했어요.
So he did fine here. Do I think that this was a earth-shattering, incredible performance that really showcased him in a way that's like, oh my god, ANXIN's the best vocalist in the world? No. Is that okay though? Yes. Was that his intention? No. I think it was to push himself and showcase versatility. I am surprised he didn't go rap, because isn't that a fun little tidbit that he expressed on behind the scenes, I think, right? For Whiplash, he said that he actually raps, and everybody was very surprised. And at that point, they were well into this challenge whenever that was shot, so I knew that he wasn't going to be in the rap side. But I am surprised that we haven't seen him pursue that as much. Maybe we will in the all-D, performances of things. But for him to take on a track like this, because it does require, if you've seen Build Up, because I'm currently watching that, they had a Breathe performance. I believe it was the song, if I'm thinking of the right one. Or maybe I'm completely wrong, and that's okay. But something that does get touched on the ballad side, on Build Up, which I really like the panel for, is they talk about, what kind of emotion are you trying to express vocally, as well as expression-wise, and how you present it. Do I think that he improved in the area of environmentally settling in the space? Yes. Did it translate vocally? I'd say he held his own. Did it stand out as the top of the three that I heard sing this? Not personally. That's okay though, because he's still in the final lineup at the end of the day, and he was in a really good position to go about it in this way too. And I think, honestly, too, those who went more vocal side for the challenge, it was a good breather for them compared to a lot of the dance performances. They're just go, go, go. So we're here for that. I think he did well. And we improved at least on the settling of getting how we need to present ourselves. I think we saw progress there in the performance, which is what we've been touching on so far. All right, finally for him, we have Chains. He kind of reminds me of a fly trapped in a spider web, doesn't he? He was able to get out of it pretty swiftly. Gunn was still working on his because it's attached to his jacket. Oh, now think about it. GEONWOO has the other half of ANXIN's jacket. Isn't that funny? Alright, this is kind of like a take 2 on the smolder for ANXIN. Are we going to see progress here? That was better. Cut it off just a little bit in the torso near the hips. I also know he's on the younger side. He's, what, 18? So he doesn't have a lot of fluency in this style. He is a bit awkward in some of the connections between his choices. That was better. Got some stiffness going in. He's still trying to find it. How to engage here in his torso. But he's able to blend in the group though. He reminds me a lot of how ZHOU moves. He has more expression here, but I think his movement's suffering a bit because of it. Okay, so my final thoughts with ANXIN. Let me go out on a limb and place a little bet here. You know, whenever you have go-to mirrors for groups, I would say RM and Jin are the go-to right and left wings of BTS. Like, they always mirror each other because of height and also because of how they moved. I don't know Junso's height to ANXIN's height. I would mirror them at their debut because you're dealing with 8 people, so you have to be creative in making sure you're not covering somebody up all the time for this, you know, unless it's functional, right? But you're always going to have people mirroring each other. That's who I'm going to guess are the go-to mirrors, is Junso and ANXIN, for that reason. I think it's because of how they move is similar, and so as they grow through that, through using the torso, through engaging and using our face more, that'll be very helpful for at least the composition to have a balance, right? Not everybody needs to perform like Arno. Not everybody needs to perform like XINLONG, or, you know, even GEONWOO has some interesting charms about how he presents himself too. And Leo, you know, like, all of them have something interesting to bring. It's a, how are you going to package it to make it a group success story? Because not everybody needs to move the exact same way. Then you'll just be, you know, that's just a very niche, everybody's full out all the time. Everybody, it could come across as overselling too. So it's nice to have little moments that tie to different types of people's preferences, right? So I think ANXIN did grow. I think his best performance out of all of them, I think on the emotion side, was Breathe. But I also think Whiplash, he held it down pretty well. Like, you saw his choices were really nice and readable, and I saw progress from the Ola Solar to Whiplash more than any other progression that we saw in this little fan cam journey. So, all right, and finally, we have Mr. First Place himself, SANGWON.
Alright, you see the fire. So I bang. 끝이 없는 어둠 속 실 같은 galaxy 너와 나 둘이서 burn it, burn it, burn it up 어두웠던 시간 속 차오르는 불씨 그 속에 너와 나 turn it up so high 찬란한 우주에 빛나는 star 눈부시게 빛날 태양빛이 so fire 남는 그도 속 저 멀리에 있지만 더 뜨겁게 더 타올라
Nice. So what's interesting is you have a very unique color in how SANGWON performs it. He has great stage presence, but he's not as clean as ANXIN was. But he's taking more risks in showcasing himself charisma-wise. But it is hard to see at times what the choreography is. Cool. It's a really good benchmark. Great charisma in how he showcased himself here. Okay. Whiplash. He was peekabooing in everybody's fan cam, so I'm excited to actually watch this fan cam. Here we go. The Whiplash SANGWON fan cam.
One look, keep a whiplash. We drop it a big flash.
Oh God. Honestly, how he's doing it looks like a completely different dance. Okay. How he performs here really saves a lot of his choices, because some of his like Harlem moment, he cut it off or it wasn't clear. He has a lot of movements that he does that are not clear, but he compensates for that with this, which is what we recommend everybody to do. It's better to have better performance with a suffering range than the opposite, honestly. Because people are going to remember this. Always. You know, that to the slow, the fast to the fast is the part he cuts off. He's done it twice. And this is the part right here. Yeah. So he sends it up. He's intensifying. That's better. Up. Up. Boom. Two. Pop. Pop. I'm still curious as to why in the studio tune version they changed his fit. I mean, the collar we can do without, right? But it is what it is. I'm saying like this type of top fared very well for him. I want to go back to the very beginning of this because how he did it, he's the only person that I think I've seen do it this way. So he started with the chest. It was a lot of his hip accents. The chest was really nice in the full boom, and then he travels it down, that toss down. This part, hit, when everyone dropped low and he kept it high. And then he sends it with the chest, and then we like the fullness, letting the chest help infiltrate on it. He pulls it away, this little Alf moment, ball change. With the melt. Yeah, his shoulders, syncopating shoulders, specifically for SANGWON is something I'm looking forward to seeing him grow in, because that is really one of the few things, and you notice it in Ola Solar too, where he cuts it off. Like the flow gets cut off when you have to syncopate staccato choices. That's what it is. Okay. Cool. I'm clocking it. Let's see if it improves. Next up, he is Like Jenny here. I voted, I think, in the challenge, I voted for Like Jenny to take one of the top spots. One reason was because of it felt like a dance performance compared to people covering Like Jenny, right? Or covering a K-pop track. So that was interesting. All right, let's see what his shoulders are doing in this one. But when I tell you performance can literally save your performance, like this can save you so much. SANGWON is a freaking great example of that. This one had way more staccato, syncopated choices, and I can tell it's okay if you're like, Jess, you're full of it. I mean, whatever. Like, it's fine. Everybody has areas to grow in, and I love being able to find them because his is a very simple fix, if I'm being honest. It's not even something to fix because you don't need to fix if you're, that's not going to be something that makes or breaks it ever at all. I think things that I'm looking forward to seeing the group as a whole grow in is cohesion between staccato and legato. Some members are going to have more staccato preferences. GEONWOO is a great example of that, right? He is the definition of he can nail every freaking staccato, which means sharp movement that you'll see in the book. But what he's really, really good at there, it's harder to see and appreciate his legato choices because his staccato is so established. And the opposite can be true with Arno, right? With SANGWON, he has stage presence out the wazoo, which helps for when the staccato sections get too staccato-y. Meaning it's too, like, it's too itemized. Like that was really nice in the beginning. Opens it up. Double basses, he hits it, little body roll, didn't quite complete it through to the hips. I'm curious about chains because we'll see this little progression happen there. Does he complete it there? Not sure. Couldn't copy. This is the only like Jenny fan cam we're looking at. Aw, just a little sad. Yeah, all that's nice. Also, one of his in-ears pops out. That can affect how it comes across. Don't Morse, take it to the chorus. Does he have as much of a charismatic stage presence here like he did in Whiplash? No. Is that okay? Yes. You got to have variety. I appreciate and commend the variety of how he's presenting himself visually. Like, oh, that's fine. All that looks great. Specifically when he goes to the thrust stage. Like, the ISOs were fine there, but notice that the angle is compromised. Then he goes drops, drops. He uses the head, but the torso is still normal. But then he sends it over. That was great. That was great right there. Lowered high, low high, knock it. With the head nod. The marches are cool. We need to go to the thrust. That's the part where you notice it a lot. Tossing it up. I know he felt discouraged after this performance because he was the killing part and they didn't win. And I was like, it shouldn't be dependent solely on one person, honestly. Yeah, the melts, notice we're now compromising. We're not using our torso. I mean, we're using it, not as aggressively as in the beginning. So that's one way of showcasing fatigue. The thrust is thrust. There. Does he have an in-ear in? I know he has one out right now. 5, 6, 7. Why is that important? Because I learned this from, what was it? I'm marathoning BTS's discography, and part of it's there's a few interviews that they do. One of them is with Suga and Jen had talked about with the in-ear, how when he was doing Astronaut with Coldplay, his in-ears, they were not picking up, like it was silent when he was singing it. So it was hard to pick it up, and there was a delay. There's always a delay based on where you are from the main stage to the thrust. There's a sound delay because that's how sound travels, and so having the in-ears really helps you stay on your music, even though you're far away from, the main stage, because it'll make sense to the track being played. And so I'm actually trying to pay way more attention to whether an in-ear is in or not, because that can influence how the sound resolves within a space for a performer, not just the audience. The tension is fine. Notice that this was more rigid here. It's on the other side too compared to the first side. Hitting it through. This right here, it looks like we're just trying to finish. Turn out of it. It's not quite clear. Unresolved choices. Looks like we're thrusting with our extremities, not letting our torso get involved like before. That's just a symptom. Honestly, for it being, a 3-minute routine and only the last 2 8 counts, I was able to notice that I could tell he's just trying to finish it. I get that. It's similar to XINLONG and GEONWOO's case with La 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 La. The dance performances were dancing performances. Yes, the structure of them is debatable, but they were dance performances. So the content density is significantly higher here than in Whiplash. I am also curious too, because he didn't look fatigued in Whiplash. Is he going to look fatigued in Chains? I bet you the answer is going to be not as much as he is here. Could it be because of density? Always. But part of my hypothesis is, I'm curious if anybody's asked them, because this would be my question. Are you regulating your breathing in the dance performances like you are when you sing? Because you have to regulate in order to have stable vocals, or you're going to crash out vocally if you do not get breath in your body. And dancers have a high tendency of not breathing. So much more than you realize. That was a big thing for me. And you don't realize it until somebody asks you if you're breathing or not. And I know some people are like, well, Jess, they're conditioned to breathe. They are whenever they have to sing. They don't have to sing here. So when they practice it, was it different? Composition, they have to create choreography, that's different. But that's a genuine question I would like to ask in these spaces, is are we actually breathing through, or we are for survival, but it's tiring. That's some tiring stuff. Woo! We just need to, I need to take a nap, is what that is, right? But he did well here. I mean, he's consistent on the stage presence. And I truly believe that stage presence is one of the highest priorities that you need to have if you're going to be an idol. Not just competency of craft, sure, but it's like the visual and how you present yourself really, really matters in the space. No, I'm not saying plastic surgery galore. No. I'm talking about how you present in commitment to character of whatever you're doing within your respective track, comeback, what have you. That needs to really be a priority, because your choreography, how you do it, and how you vocalize are all going to be reflective of how you tone set physically. So that's why I'm like, with SANGWON, that is an incredible quality he does have that makes him stand out in a way that not many that I've seen in this lineup are able to do from the jump. And side note, I don't know if I've already said it before in the last video, but this is your first video with me. Hi. In part 1, I mentioned this. Goodness, I already forgot what I was going to say. It's not important. Cool. Yeah, it's really funny. I just completely forgot what I was saying because we're watching now. And I'm like in it. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I said I've never seen these fan cams before. That was my point. This is the first time I'm watching a SANGWON fan cam. All of these here. That was better. He didn't cut it off. That was good. That's what I was looking out for. Syncopation. Nice. He's got a good middle ground. Good. Throw that chain down. definite progress there. With it, what is it? You got to see more of his combination of smooth with tension. He did a really, really good job with that. And the choruses, he didn't look like he cut off the flow, the body, especially on this little pelvic moment on the ground. Yeah, I think his performance was a really nice medium. It wasn't so in your face, which I think there was a time and place for, and I love that he did that when he did with Whiplash. But notice that he has a refinement on meeting his performance with maintaining a sense of cleanliness. I think he's gotten cleaner compared to Ola Solar. I do see the progress, and I'm really proud of him for that. I think that's great, and I'm glad that he, placed where he placed. I mean, he got top spot, and he never dropped, which is incredible feat in the space, and I'm glad that he's, able to debut with somebody like Leo as well, where they, audition together. And I really like the fact that Arno and ANXIN audition together. They're also in the group together. Like, that's really cool to me. I think that's just so fun. Because then you could expect at the fan concerts, hopefully their auditions again. I think that would be really fun, right? Or seeing all four of them do ENHYPEN together, because they both audition with ENHYPEN. So going with an ENHYPEN kind of vibe as a group, I mean, you got half the group audition that way. So, okay, I see it. But yeah, so the questions now would be what to expect as a whole with the group. I'm not, like I said in part 1, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to flop or they're going to be this incredible group. We got to see what type of discography they're going to have whenever they're released, because sometimes discography really determines direction, of course, what kind of sound we're going to operate in. We do have an older group compared to a lot of times when you see groups debut. They're normally younger. We have more boys in their 20s than we do in their teens, which I think I personally like. As an older individual reviewing, I do think the older you are, the more informed consent privileges you may end up having. So I think about that from the industry standpoint. I think the ideas and concepts you can do, I think, are a little, you have more options. I also think there as well. But I am looking forward to seeing them grow and adopt each other's fingerprints. And what I mean by that is, Arno's known for his heavy legato and fluidity. Seeing other members adopt that, seeing Junso and ANXIN get a groove at some point would be nice. And let's throw GEONWOO in there. GEONWOO has really nice staccato that compensates for his lack of groove, but seeing him groove would be a really cool progression for him. With XINLONG, I think he did really, really well. And I think he had a fantastic checkpoint from his starting to where he was before finals, right? So the challenge right before with Lucky Macho, that's a really, really good pace that he did. I thought that was ideal. That was really, really cool. And now some of you are like, Jess, there's fan cams of the final challenge. What I think would be fun, and I want to hear from y'all, is let's wait till they debut, and then we'll see their debut fan cams, and we'll compare them to their finale fan cams. I think that would be a fun progression, because I had never thought to do a fan cam progression until Boys to Planet. So now I'm wanting to do this with other groups that we've marathon, just for it to see, like, where have we really seen growth, not just as a collective, but as individuals. But yeah, I want to hear from y'all. Hopefully I was helpful, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of them grow in different ways, specifically in as a team. And they have a pretty good head start since they've spent a lot of time together and they went through the same challenges together. So we're here for it. I'm Jess, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.